Welcome to the Go News Australia podcast. It's the podcast for Australian shooters who just want the political interference taken out of shooting.
And welcome to another episode of Gun News Australia, brought to you by Politics Reloaded and Gun Traders Australia. Now, I'll be talking about one of the results from a Freedom of Information request that has come back to us from the Federal Attorney General's Department into the workings of the Firearms, Weapons and Policy Working Group. It's quite a significant matter. Now, the FOI was only made possible by the support of our members, people who join Politics Reloaded, and also our supporters through our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Politics Reloaded. If you want to see more of this work, the links to doing that are in the description to this video. Now, this particular FOI is going to lead to legal challenges in respect of other information that's been withheld, as well as a similar fight that we're having in New South Wales. So they're going to be legal challenges where we're going to need your support. And in fact, we're probably going to be setting up a GoFundMe to deal with the costs that this is going to incur. But it's definitely the gift that keeps on giving. The story tonight is the first chapter in what we're seeing in the results. And this relates to a proposal by the Queensland Government to introduce basically late night pub rules for gun clubs across the state. And it's there to address a problem that doesn't exist. So look, here's part of what we're talking about. And you'll see that this is basically it's an update from the Queensland Audit Office given by an inspector of Queensland Police. Now, what it says in that red box is that the Queensland Police are looking to introduce what they call safe night licensing scan technology to check non-licensed individuals prior to their ability to access a range. So they're talking about visitors, people who see, the shooting's available and there's a range near them and they want to go and try the sport out. They roll up to the club and they're going to be hit with this scanning technology. Now, what this is, if you were still of the age group that goes out clubbing at night, going to licensed venues that stay open after midnight, then you need to provide your license. You scan it into a machine. It'll check you against a database of people who are banned from going to licensed venues, and that way you're either allowed entry or not. Now that works for nightclubs, but that is what the police in Queensland are looking to introduce to gun clubs right across the state. And we're talking about everything from Belmont, the big complex there, right down to the Muckadilla Rifle Club. And we interviewed those chaps quite a while ago. I think at one stage they had 2 members. Now they've got about 30. So this is a huge, huge cost impact that the Queensland Police are looking to introduce to gun clubs. Now, the other thing about it, of course, is that technology is really there for clubs that stay open until after midnight, sell a lot of alcohol. Gun clubs don't do that. Gun clubs might shut by 10 p.m. and if you're lucky to have a bar, then good on you. But certainly, that's really really stretching the need for it. The other thing too is what problem are they addressing? That technology for nightclubs was there to address alcohol-fueled violence, and I'm yet to see any evidence of that happening at a gun club anywhere in Australia. In fact, I did a search earlier or prior to filming this. I looked up the terms fight, brawl, violence across gun clubs, shooting ranges, and I found nothing relevant. They're looking to bring in something to fix a problem that simply does not exist. Now, let's dig a bit deeper into this safe night ID scanning. What the Queensland Government says is that they are a Queensland Government initiative to reduce late night drug and alcohol-related violence. So clearly, somebody thinks that there's drug and alcohol-related problems in gun clubs, or something else that they haven't told us about. They haven't articulated a problem, which is a key issue that I'm going to get to shortly. Now, look at the cost of these scanners. They're significant. Hard to get an accurate number because the vendors don't really want to post them online. They want to deal with, they want to negotiate. But one thing is for sure, those scanners in Queensland can only be operated by licensed crowd controllers, and there are also ongoing software subscription costs. And one business that I found in doing some research for this reported the cost to them of managing this was $80,000 a year, obviously including staff costs. And there was one other business that said that that the scanners led to a sharp drop in patronage at the bar they manage. And of course, in the case of shooters, it means that if you haven't got government issued ID, you can't get in. So what do juniors do? This is clearly a very ill-conceived issue. And as one Surfers Paradise bar said, that the scanners were stupid and un-Australian. And we obviously agree. Now, this was a one-line item reported to the Firearms Weapons Policy Working Group, which you'll be aware we've done a fairly broad-based FOI in on. So this is the first story that's come out of that. Our FOI dives deep into what they're working on. Now, the group itself states that it's a national forum for registries, and that it works towards consistency in firearms regulation. What we've seen so far is that it has a significant lack of discipline in what it does, and it's prepared to entertain basically what I call idiotic thought bubbles like this. Now, we already have hundreds of pages from the FOI of policy discussions at the group, which we're working through, and we're going to bring that to you. Plus, as I said, there's going to be legal challenges in relation to other documents which are being withheld. So that's what the Queensland Police are up to. So watch this space. As I said, if you can back our work to actually push this further, that would be absolutely great. And I also just noted that if you have a keen look at the title of the item that I put up earlier, Queensland Audit Office. Now, it would seem that the Queensland Audit Office started an audit of the Firearms Registry, or you call it the Weapons Registry, in 2020 into its effectiveness. Now, somewhere along the line, Queensland Police have obviously been able to use that as a way to argue for more money, a new database, and to bring stuff like this in as some sort of benefit to the community. Now, the officer's report at page 17, and there's a link to this in our article on our website, it does float the possibility that is the audit office does talk a little bit about using a scanning system to allow Queensland Police to check who's coming to going into ranges. But it did not actually end up as a recommendation. So somewhere along the line, Queensland Police have taken that comment and put it into its list of aspirations. That's the word that it uses in that item, to basically stitch clubs up with technology they don't need and can't afford anyway. So that's it from me for now. And as I said, watch this space because we're definitely going to be moving down the legal path on this. So that's one silly idea, unfortunately, that follows one after another out of Queensland. Look, thank you very much for your time, and don't forget to support Politics Reloaded, which you can do either directly through our website or at patreon.com/Politics Reloaded, and we'll see you later. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gun News Australia, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're a supporter through Patreon, you'll get access to early release of the episodes as soon as they're uploaded, as well as the special weekly updates. So to support our work, simply go to patreon.com/Politics Reloaded, or use the QR code on the screen, or see the description in this episode for details.